India will no longer allow the import of goods made using forced labor. It is a significant change in the country's trade policy and comes as India negotiates a trade agreement with the US where labor standards have become an increasingly important trade issue. So, what exactly has changed and why does it matter? The Union government has amended the Foreign Trade Policy 2023. Under the new rule, goods produced or manufactured wholly or partly using forced labor cannot be imported into India. The amendment was notified by the Directorate General of Foreign Trade or DGFT and will come into effect 30 days after its publication in the official gazette. So, what counts as forced labor? India has adopted the definition under the International Labour Organization's Forced Labour Convention of 1930. It refers to any work or service extracted from a person under the threat of a penalty and without that person's voluntary consent. Simply put, if people are forced to work against their will, products made through that labor can no longer be imported into India. The timing is significant. The move comes as the United States increases scrutiny of forced labor in global supply chains. It is currently investigating several economies, including India, under Section 301 of the US Trade Act. In June, the Office of the US Trade Representative proposed a 12.5% tariff on imports from 54 countries, including India, arguing that they had not done enough to prevent imports linked to forced labor. India has rejected the proposal and submitted its response. With both countries negotiating a bilateral trade agreement, labor standards have become an important area of discussion. So, how will this new rule work? The center will identify goods suspected of being produced using forced labor. If an investigation or other credible evidence establishes that a product was made using forced labor, the government can prohibit its import into India. The detailed procedure for these investigations will be laid out in the Handbook of Procedures 2023. Until now, India has largely dealt with forced labor through labor and criminal laws. This amendment brings the issue into the country's trade policy as well. That aligns India's trade framework more closely with international labor standards at a time when global supply chains are under greater scrutiny. How effectively the policy is implemented and how consistently the government identifies and acts against products linked to forced labor will determine its long-term impact. It could also shape perceptions of India's labor standards as trade negotiations with major economies continue. Follow Business Standard for more stories.